You are listening to Gpods by Gaurav Aswani.
And your video starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good evening. Namaskar. Thank you once again for being part of this Facebook Live. This is Radhakrishnan Pillai here. And first of all, wishing you each one a happy World Health Day. Yes, my dear friends, today is World Health Day. Today is the day when we have to remember the doctors and the nurses who are actually serving us in such a difficult times across the globe. Yes, friends, today is World Health Day. So whoever are in this medical profession, please remember them, thank them, and of course, give a prayer to them also. Because during this coronavirus problem, the people who are working on the field, risking their own personal life, is the doctors and the medical teams, the nurses, and every support that is there in the hospitals, the dispensaries, and various other testing laboratories. So let us all remember them and thank them for the hard work they are doing in such a hard times. So once again, today is World Health Day, and let us all remember the doctors and the medical fraternity. With that, friends, we will start with the prayer that we usually start with, the Chanakya Prayer that comes in the Artha Shastra. It is called as, if you remember, Shukracharya and Brahaspati. So please remember and pray after me. Om Namaha Shukra Brahaspatibhyam. Om Namaha Shukra Brahaspatibhyam. So we are remembering the two great teachers, Shukracharya and Brahaspati, and all the other teachers in the Guru Parampara, Guru Sishya Parampara. And let me start with today's book. Today is the 7th book in the series, and all of you can actually see the book in the background. You can see this book. Yes, this book is Chanakya in the Classroom. Okay, the book is called Chanakya in the Classroom. So I know there are maximum student followers that I have on Instagram and also on Facebook. Therefore, this book is very special, and I actually got a very interesting chance to go through my books again, because I'm keeping writing more and more and more books. But what happens is that this is such a wonderful opportunity to go back and read these books. What I've found is actually that this book answers many of the questions. See, once again, I've got a list of questions that are coming in. Thank you so much. But the good part is that maximum of the questions that we were asking is already answered in this particular book, this Chanakya in the Classroom. And it is not about college-going students. Please understand, my dear friends, this book is not about just college-going students. It's also about being a student for life. So if you want to be an ideal student for life, irrespective of your age or whichever position in your career, this is the book for you. Chanakya in the Classroom. Okay, very interesting book. And this book is also published by Rupa Books, Rupa Publications. They were also the people who published my previous book, which we took yesterday, which was Chanakya in Daily Life. So today we look at the next book. And once again, I like to thank Kapish and the whole Rupa team, the editorial team, who made this very fantastic book with a very different cover page. So you see, all the books of Chanakya has got a Chanakya face, but this is also very different. And I'll just read it out, how this whole book is all about. So it says, Chanakya in the Classroom, Life Lessons for Students. Okay, this is for Life Lessons for Students. And if you look at this carefully, okay, there is something written here. Okay, very beautifully designed. So I'll just read out some of the words. They are interesting words from the Artha Shastra, which has actually been shown over here. It's called Anvikshiki, the science of thinking. There was a question also, what is Anvikshiki? It's there in this book also in detail. Self-discipline, how to think correctly, stop worrying and start studying. Yeah, stop worrying and start studying. Thinking about solutions. So many times people only think about problems, but we are talking about thinking about solutions. Then methods of learning and studying. Methods of learning and studying. Critical thinking. Then we have don't fear failure. That's another great challenge that all the students face, is about Will I fail in exams? Then organizing oneself. Very important. A good student is always well organized. So how to organize yourself is there in this particular book. And then listening to a teacher. Most of the time when we are sitting in a particular class, we are not listening to the teacher. We are actually hearing the teacher. Listening is applying your mind also. There is self-reflection. You should reflect yourself. Discipline. And one very small word, which is a very important word, it also is called patience. It's also called patience. Friends, it's a very emotional book for me because I'm a teacher and I face all type of students. When I say all type, I mean to say all age group of students. And I know some of my students are also live over here. I've been very fortunate that I've been in the teaching fraternity and the profession for almost the last 20 years. Initially, it was informal education, going and giving speeches. Then later on, it became formal. I started doing training programs. But now I'm a teacher at the University of Mumbai and I had an institution called the Chanakya International Institute of Leadership Studies. A lot of my students have doing well in their life, and not just all of them, they're doing extremely well in their life. And I would go to the one extent of telling that they were already doing well. So I've been very fortunate that the kind of students who come to me are not the people who want to do well in life. They're already doing well in life, but they only want to do better in life. Okay, so I got students from all backgrounds, from different things, and it actually makes me very happy that I got a student from the age of 21, 22, right up till 64. So think about the kind of a variety, and all they sit in the same class, do the same course. So think about the advantage that the students themselves have, and look at how lucky I am to actually address such a variety of students. So don't think this is just a काल्पनिक किताब. वो कहते हैं ना कि आपको ऐसे लगता है, ये practice किया है. And in fact, all the people in the background who are doing my coordination, the technical part, the back end, all those things, right from Pranav to Meena, they've been my students. Tushar and even Melan came to me as students. They want to do the course and understand the Arthashastra. So is Kartika. And interestingly, even my wife Surekha is currently doing a PhD. So, there's a complete academic background that I'm brought up in. And as I told you, there are a lot of things that I have applied in my life, which I'll be sharing as a teacher and as a student. And what else? The ideal student and ideal teacher that we are all discussing is Chanakya. So friends, this is going to be a very different book, but an interesting and practical book. So what do we do? So we will be doing book reading, looking at the stories of Chanakya in detail, and of course the practical tips in this. But before that, I want to announce today we will be actually having a small quiz towards the end. So stay back till the end. We'll be having a quiz where I'll be asking you 3 questions. Yeah, not very, very difficult. Only 3 simple questions. And you have to answer these 3 questions to us. And we will be definitely declaring a winner in the next 2 days. So you don't have to wait till the end. Just remember, the answer is so simple that if you have been attentive in this particular Facebook and Instagram live, that means it is going to be very easy for you. So what are these 3 questions? So let me test you as a teacher. Okay, so let me test you as a teacher and we will actually declare the winners. But before we go into that, I want to tell you that what I generally tell the students in the first class, be it anywhere I go, I'm a teacher who doesn't believe in competition. Okay, I'm a teacher who doesn't believe in competition, but I'm a teacher who believes in collaboration. So, it's important that we have to come out from the mindset of just writing exam and passing to helping each other. Now, when I say helping each other, I'm not telling you to copy during exams. That is not the meaning of collaboration. What I mean to say is that we need to actually support the other students also to emerge as a winner. So, unfortunately, it is rat race. Everybody wants to be a winner. But the joke goes that in the rat race, even if you are a winner, you are still a rat. In the rat race, even if you are a winner, you are still a rat. So let us not be rats in the rat race, but let us be kings. Let us be lions. So we need to think like leaders, not like rats. Chuha mad bano, sher bano. So this is what I always advise the students, that help each other. Share notes. If somebody is not able to attend a particular class, then don't worry about it. There is another friend who will help you. Support each other. And it is not just about passing exams, because your school friends actually become your friends for life, your college friends, or whichever you do. So be it a school student or a college student or a university researcher doing a master's degree, MPhil or a PhD, all of you have to understand the qualities of a good student. And finally, remember, a good student goes on to become a good teacher. A good student goes on to become a good teacher. So remember, invoke the student in you, but become the best teacher. That is what exactly Chanakya did. Remember, Chanakya was a great student, and then he also was a great teacher. So that is Chanakya in the classroom for all of you. So let me just read, as you say, this is called a blurb, the back cover page. Again, you must have seen very nice design. You can see the concentric waves and all that. Okay. Good morning, Chanakya sir. Good morning, Chanakya sir. How we wish that this was true, that we could get the sharpest of minds to teach us how to deal with the myriad challenges life throws at us. What are some of the principles and suggestions? What are the principles and suggestions given by the most revered teacher and observer of human nature? The work for the betterment of each student. Of course, then it talks about the best-selling author of Chanakya series, Radhakrishnan Pillai, brings out to you some of the nuggets of wisdom of Chanakya in easy to understand language, making Chanakya's teachings very relatable in our times. As you must have already seen, my particular strategy has been to keep knowledge very simple, not make it very complicated. Systematically addressing the most common issues faced by students. This book will help you. You see, there are some points. What are the things that will help you in concentration? That is one of the biggest challenges all students and parents go through, concentration. Second is purpose, learning, discipline, awareness, devotion, duty, responsibilities. So, everybody must be telling you at home or in your schools and colleges that, studying is your duty, it is your responsibility. Finish off your assignments, your projects in time. The teachers will be following you up. But a student who is one of the committed students will find it very easy. I have seen that in my own CII list, Chanakya International Institute of Leadership Studies, that all the students are working. And I have students not only from Mumbai, but they are from different parts of the world also. But they're so committed. In fact, it is said that if you're busy, then you'll be a very good student. And it is said, if you're busy, you'll be a very good student. But if you're a full-time student, if you don't pay attention, you'll never study. I know of some of my students who are actually from Bangalore who come down every week, from Pune who have been coming down, different places. In fact, I have got a girl student also. Her name is Geeta, who comes from UAE. Think about it, coming all the way internationally. Now, it's not about her or any of the students. What I like is that students should be committed. Many of them are CEOs of companies, they are businessmen, they are doctors. In fact, I have a doctor who manages a complete hospital. Think about it, the challenges. But responsibility, if you are having inside you, wherever you go, you'll be successful. So start as a student, but don't end as a student, become a teacher. So friends, this book, as you know, is about the classroom. In classroom, there is a teacher and a thought. So let me start with the contents. I'll just read it out for all of you. Okay. So what are the contents? First, it starts with the introduction. Then, thinking like Chanakya can make you the best student in class. Thinking like Chanakya will make you the best student in class. Second one, or second chapter. Preparing the timetable. Yes. How to prepare a timetable? Plan out your work and work out your plan. As they say, plan out your work and work out your plan. How to prepare a timetable. Third, the importance of self-study as told by Chanakya. There is a very beautiful word. It is called Swadhyaya. Swa-adhyaya. Adhyaya means study. Okay, the people who study themselves, not because they are forced by others, by teachers, by parents. You should never study out of pressure. You should study out of joy. You should study as if, it's something which I believe should be done. Don't just study for exams, study for the exam called life. If you prepare very well, all the knowledge will come to your help. So here is a chapter on the importance of self-study. Chapter number 4 talks about never stop learning. Never stop learning. I have a student in the current batch of the Mumbai University course where he's already a PhD. Now, can you believe that? He is already a doctorate and still studying for a master's degree course. The Mumbai University offers a master's degree called MALS, Masters in Leadership Science. So when he came to me the first time, I asked, are you sure you want to study? He says, I'm already number 1 in my particular field, but I don't know about leadership qualities. I have a student who actually does a complete diamond factory. I have bankers, I have engineers, I have students who are from the fraternity of, social media. And then I wonder what exactly is that makes them work. I have a student, as I told you, 60 plus year, almost at the retirement phase, but say, I want to study and make it better. So my dear friends, the attitude matters, not the course. Therefore, never stop learning. It is not just for degree or for a job that you should study. Study for the sake of learning. How to develop that habit. Then we have a chapter called Life versus Exams. Life versus Exams. My PhD guide, Dr. Shubhada Joshi, used to say something very nice. She says our education system has become an examination system. Okay? Education system has become an examination system. All of us are part of it, but somebody has to change it, right? So we should change it. We should look at it positively. Of course, the duty of a teacher is to evaluate. What do you mean by evaluation? Suppose I've given you something, some knowledge. I'll be asking you questions to make sure you understood it. That's why the assignments, projects, dissertations, theses, and of course, written exam happens. But people only prepare for exams. They don't prepare for life. So it's very, very important that we prepare for exams. So there's a chapter on exam versus life. And the 7th one, the chapter number 7 is Chanakya's extra class. Okay, Chanakya's extra class. So beyond teaching, he's also teaching you something. Now we have extracurricular activities. So what is important is that don't become a kitabi kida. Don't become a bookworm. Of course, I love books. In fact, today I changed my background. You must have seen it. I'm surrounded by books. This is my personal library in my house. Okay, so I'm working from home, taking the session from home. Yeah. And every time the bigger problem that we have in my house, my wife Surekha tells, my parents tell, kitna book leke aate ho. So I love to read books, but reading books only for the sake of exams is the most dangerous thing. Okay? Reading books only for the exams is a very, very dangerous thing. Do a book reading for the sake of joy, for understanding knowledge. I love to collect books. You can see some of them. In fact, when I was arranging this, I thought I should show you this part of it. So this whole thing is all Arthashastra books. You can see if some of you can look at it carefully. You can see actually the collections of Arthashastra books, and I've collected from across the globe. I've collected some books from Nepal. I went to England also. I've got a collection actually from even Oxford. So these are not just books for the sake of books. In fact, I can tell you right over the corner. I can't show you that. There is a complete series of books which was written and documented by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's daughter. Okay, now I'm going to be very clear on this. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel never wrote a book. His daughter, Manibhen, wrote a book. So I got all those things. I read it. And can you believe, I started realizing the kind of a patriotic ideas that Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel had. And I actually wrote a small research paper on that. And I got the first major award. That was Sardar Patel International Award in our national capital, New Delhi. And please understand, for me, it was never giving exams. I tell you, the early stages, I was a very ordinary student. But with the help of all the Chanakya Nitis, I became an extraordinary student. So friends, it is not about praising myself, but I'm telling you whatever I'm going to talk about or what I've written in this particular book is actually real. It's very practical. And I understand as a teacher, and I also understand as a student, it's important to redefine ourselves. But finally, many people blame him. But let me tell you, it starts with your right attitude. It starts with your right attitude. So let me start with a small joke before I start the book reading. You know, the exam results of 10th standard were declared. It's like a board exams. The first major exam everybody gives. And immediately the results were declared. And one boy was jumping around, very, very happy. And one girl was crying. She was very, very upset. So somebody asked the girl, what happened? Why are you crying? She told, I only got 98%. I only got 98%. I was expecting 100 out of 100. Okay, so I understand. And the boy, he was jumping with joy, saying, oh, so you got good marks? Why are you so much dancing? Oh, yeah, I got 35 marks. I passed. So you look at it, success is very relative. The boy never expected to pass, but he passed and he's happy. And somebody expected, 100, but only got 98. So whether it is 98 or 35, both of you are passed. I understand there's a lot of expectation, but reality is very different. Many times things are not under your control. But if you're a good student, today or tomorrow, you will definitely succeed in the exam called life. So friends, with that, I will start reading a chapter for all of you. And this particular chapter is very different. And can you believe it? I'm not only giving you self-help tips, I have actually made story out of this particular. Yeah. So it's actually weaving 2-3 characters. Okay. So you can even think about visualizing this as watching a movie. So let us see what this particular is, and I'll show you once again. It's called The Story of Two Students. So introduction itself starts with a story. Definitely I can't read the whole story because it's a long story, and also it ends. It's almost like a flashback book. But how does the whole plot start? Let me start with reading the story. Let me begin this book by telling you a story. See, I'm a storyteller, right? Right from my first book, Corporate Chanakya, it is all about storytelling. We also saw Katha Chanakya and many other stories in every book that I write. So let me begin this book by telling you a story. The story of two students. Both of them went to the same school and college. I'm sure you have a lot of friends with whom you have been lifelong students, They were friends and very close friends. They knew each other since childhood and made every decision together. They studied together, went to the same tutorial classes, and also appeared for board exams together. When they went to college, they took the same course and were once again in the same class. So it's called Siamese twins. You are two different but still connected people. Okay, so everything that they did was together. Even though they were together in every educational course that they pursued, in terms of personality, the two friends were poles apart. They were always together, but they were opposites. The kind of a personality that they had was very, very different. One was a sports person, extrovert, who loved to debate and openly discuss every topic under the sun, enjoyed dressing up in the latest fashion, and owned the latest gadgets. He liked whatever you say, the latest gadgets, mobile, laptops. He wanted to be updated, smart looking guy, and owned the latest gadgets. His name was Amar. So the first friend's name is Amar. The other friend was Deepak. He never cared much for dressing up. It did not matter to him if his jeans and t-shirt were of the latest fashion or not. He would just wear any particular dress. His mobile phone screen was a bit cracked. I'm sure all of you must be going through this. The mobile screen is a little bit cracked, but he did not care to repair it. He was never into sports or any kind of physical activity. The whole college knew that even though they were poles apart, they were best friends, and the Jodi called Amardeep, short form of Deepak. So Amardeep was a Jodi that was very famous in college. Now comes another character, a girl called Sania. Sania, a classmate of theirs, called them Amardeep. So how the whole thing came up? Amar and Deepak. So Amardeep. It is a joint name given by Sanya, a title that became popular among friends. She would say, if you do not find Amar in the classroom, he is surely in the playground. So if you don't find Amar anywhere, she was thinking, wo khel raha hoga, because he's a sports person. And for Deepak, she would say, if you do not find Deepak in the classroom, he is surely in the library. So there were personalities. If they're not in the classroom, one is in the sports field practicing sports, and the other will be in the library reading books. One thing common between Amar and Deep was that when it came to exams, they performed extremely well. Okay, so when it exam, both of them were brilliant students. Both of them were brilliant academically. Students, both boys and girls, flocked around Amardeep to get study tips from them. So everybody flocked around Amardeep and said, "Arey yaar, humko batao na, humko batao na." I'm sure it happens with everybody. When, especially during the exam time, you go behind those studious guys and how they are able to crack the exams. Sanya used to watch Amardeep and wonder. Sanya used to watch Amardeep and wonder, I never see either of them studying too hard. I don't see them studying much, They study, I know, but not too hard. They're not, the bookworm kind of people. One keeps playing in the ground, while the other is lost in books. It is not necessarily textbooks, You can read any book. But even the books that Deep reads are not on the subject taught in the class. He spends time reading other books. Yet, he too tops the class. So she used to wonder, what's the secret of their success? At that time, Sanya was interested in becoming an investigative journalist. Sanya was interested in becoming an investigative journalist. She began observing both Amar and Deepak closely and wanted to decode the secrets of how they became successful students. Amardeep were loved and admired by not only their friends and other students, but also by the teachers and other staff members of the college. But Sanya never got a chance to understand the secret to them being good students. The question always remained in her mind, ये पढ़ाई करते कैसे हैं? What is the secret of them? Because I don't see them studying too hard, but they always stop. A few years later, बहुत सालों के बाद, as they say, now we go fast forward. A few years later, Sanya did become an investigative journalist. She's also a very determined girl, and she became an investigative journalist. She started working for a newspaper, part of a big media company. So she was lucky to get into a very good job in a very good company. They called it the most famous pink paper. You know what is the concept of pink paper? They're usually in the field of finance. A pink paper is usually a daily economic and financial newspaper. The editor of the newspaper was very happy with the stories that Sanya used to get from her research. She used to write her articles for the newspaper based on financial stories that would make sense to the readers. So Sanya did not just write for the sake of writing. She used to do a lot of original research and bring out new news stories. That is what investigative journalism is all about. Investigative journalism is not cut, copy, paste. It's actually getting the right story which is not discovered by others. That's called investigation. One day, the editor called her and said, that means the boss of Sanya, Sanya, I'm very happy to work. I'm very happy with your work. You really bring out stories that are well investigated, researched, and meaningful. It's very important that you do research in your studies also. And Sanya had this habit of getting well-researched stories. He smiled and continued, the boss, the editor. I want to give you an important task. Are you ready for it? क्या तुम तैयार हो? Are you ready? Yes, sir. Sanya, enthusiastic, as usual, replied, any task, okay, any task will be executed by me. Sir, अब बिल्कुल दो बार चिंता मत कीजिए, आप जो भी देंगे वो मैं करूंगी. Your wish is my command. He asked, do you know the concept of Startup India and Stand Up India launched by the government? A Prime Minister and the government has launched a story or a concept called Startup India, Stand Up India. Yeah. Yes, of course. It is the initiative of the Prime Minister to create new startups and companies in India, especially among the youth. Right, sir? Exactly. You are absolutely right. The boss added, we editors and heads of top media companies and senior journalists were called for a meeting with the Information and Broadcasting Minister last week in Delhi. He's now giving the background. What is this whole thing about? This excited Sanya as she was beginning to realize she was getting into something very big. So she was already telling, the government, the Information Broadcasting Ministry had called. We're talking about the latest project for the college-going students. In the meeting, the Prime Minister himself was present. He said to us that he was very personally committed to the projects of Startup India, Stand Up India, and wanted the media to partner with the government to create an entrepreneurship culture in India. He said, instead of looking out for a job, the youth should think about creating jobs. Instead of looking out for a job, the youth should think about creating jobs. And he continued. And Sanya, there are many small startup companies in our country that are mushrooming across in the big cities, small towns, and villages. The Prime Minister told us that if we can encourage these small startups in any manner, the nation will grow many folds. So this is the thing which the Prime Minister had a vision. And then, with a serious note, the editor said to Sanya, we are the largest and the most biggest economic publication. So we, in the sense, the newspaper publication in our country, and widely read by many across the globe. So our newspaper that comes out, it's not only read in India, but across the globe. Not only do we have millions of daily readers, but we also have quality readers. So we have millions of readers, but also quantity and quality. If we can carry out some of the stories of such startups that are creating a change in this country, we will be able to contribute in a big way. Sanya thought for a minute and quizzed her boss. Sir, what am I supposed to do? What is my agenda? And he tells them, of course, go and do research. And that's exactly where Sanya's journey starts. And the journey is about the whole youth of India, what they are doing. She does investigations. And can you believe this? And all of you must be already guessing this, right? She again comes back to her friends. I'm not going to disclose much about it. Amar and Deep. They have become a very, very successful startup. They are into sports management. And then Sanya goes and investigates. And then she actually connects back to understand how. And both of them had a one common answer. We all learned how to be a good student and a good businessman based on Chanakya's teachings. Oh, that is the time when Sanya used to wonder in colleges how they are so smart and efficient and how they are good students. And they revealed to her. And what is that? I want all of you to later on read the book. It is available, Chanakya in the Classroom. But what I'm going to do today, I'm going to actually talk about only one particular chapter, given the time that we have limitation. And my favorite in this is how to prepare a timetable. I'm sure, this is something that we used to do in school days, especially during the 10th standard, the final year when there is a lot of examinations and the board exam specifically. But unfortunately, not everybody gets into that habit, which we call as self-discipline. So the whole chapter is there. At the end of it, there is a summary. I'll just read that. So the whole chapter is how to prepare a timetable. But as I told you, and one of my friends called Shiv Bhaskar gave me a very interesting comment that please always summarize everything in points because it's easy to remember. So there is actually 5 points from this particular chapter. So you can think about it and use it also. The summary of the chapter is how to prepare a timetable. So all the details is there. First point. Time management is the key to success. Time management is the key to success. Remember that in life, those who value time, time values them. Those who value time, time values them. Everyone has only 24 hours in a day, but a leader manages his time effectively. Sleep less. We can be fresh if we have less sleep. A lot of people say more sleep, more sleep. So, sometimes too much of sleep can make you lazy. But what is important is that you should have good quality sleep. Many people believe that 7 to 8 hours is important. Of course, it is important. But a student should also have something called as Nidra Niyantran, control over your sleep. Because especially during exam times and all of those things, we are not telling you not to sleep, but we are telling you sleep right. Sleep less if required. The length of the sleep does not matter. It is the depth of the sleep that is important. Not the length, but the depth of the sleep is equally important. You can be fresh even with less sleep. If required, take a nap in the afternoon. So we have already told you how to plan your day. If you look at nature, if you look at the animals, the birds, they start up very early in the morning. And of course, they sleep very early also. But the thing is that they have a small afternoon nap. In the corporate world, it is also encouraged. It is called as power naps. So don't just think about saying that it's only about sleep, because there is a thin line between resting and becoming lazy. You need rest. And one of the tips that I always give about resting is that you can go and play sports also. That's also rest. Physical activity is also equally important, not just being a bookworm. So that is sleepless. The third point is students, just like leaders, should study every day. Okay, leaders are supposed to study every day. Exactly. Chanakya had encouraged that every particular leader should study every day for minimum 3 hours. What are you saying? How can somebody study for 3 hours? Especially when you are a president, a prime minister, CEO of a country? No. Swadhyaya was a part of the daily timetable of a king. In Arthashastra, book number 1, chapter 19. Okay, it's called Raja Pranidhihi. The activities of a king. There's a daily timetable given. Raja's Dinacharya. In that, he's supposed to study every day. Think about it. As students, we don't study. But actually, leaders are supposed to study. Even after becoming a leader, one should study every day. And if you are full-time student, okay, there are a lot of students who are full-time, not supposed to work and all those things, you should study even more. No one must avoid studies. See, we find this especially when students are doing the PhDs and all those things full-time. The government and various other institutions actually give them even financial support, junior research fellow, and all those kind of a good support they get. Anything from 20,000 to 50,000 to a lakh of a rupee. So today, being a student, if you're a good student, a researcher, there's a lot of funds available. But I've seen this, unfortunately, after getting that much money, also they don't study. And I'm very proud of my students. In spite of being very busy, they study more better. So be that category that even if you're a full-time or a part-time student, study is a must. And leader is also supposed to study. That's the third tip. Fourth, which was the most important part of the chapter, and that is prepare the best timetable. So as I told you, the whole chapter is on preparing a timetable. Plan your timetable well in advance. Plan your timetable well in advance. Both the long-term and short-term ones. So in the chapter, we are given how to make a long-term timetable and a short-term timetable. Plan out your work and work out your plan. This is the last, fifth practical tip, and it is very, very, very simple for everybody to understand. when you make a timetable, this is also a major problem. And therefore, the tip is keep your timetable flexible. Keep your timetable flexible. Distractions are bound to arise when we follow a fixed timetable. Everybody says, I'll study for 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day, 8 hours a day. And then it is natural that some distractions may come in. Sometimes your mother will call, sometimes a phone call will come, a friend will call. Sometimes you suddenly get encouraged to watch that little bit of a TV serial or that WhatsApp message. Okay. So many people said, no, now I'm not going to talk to anyone. I'm going to be in my study room. I'm going to lock myself up. No. One of the practical tips that Chanakya gives even for a king is make a plan, but let the plan be flexible. Don't become rigid. Okay. So keep your timetable flexible. Have a plan, but be flexible. Don't make it too rigid. As I told you, don't make it watertight. I have to get up. I have to do this. 9 o'clock, my geometry study should over. 9 o'clock, my biology should start. 9 to 9:05 is okay. So what I'm saying is that if you go too much by the hard and fast rule, the biggest problem that you'll have is I, me, myself. Okay, keep an extra hour in your daily timetable to accommodate things that are not anticipated. So in that timetable, make sure that you have something which is flexible so that you can accommodate. So for example, most of the people in the offices, they do that. They do work for 8 hours. So they plan, morning 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, whatever, 6 o'clock. But don't plan it out completely. Don't fill it up. Leave some space. So what it's like, if you've seen a cold drink, if you've seen a cold drink, the bottle, there is a top. It's not full to the brim. There is some small gap. Even when a car is filled with petrol, or when petrol is being filled into a scooter or any other particular vehicle, they will not fill it totally. There has to be some space. So remember this rule in life. So if you have to work for 8 hours, only plan for 7 hours, because suddenly a phone call may come, some distractions may come. So, but that doesn't mean you plan for 7 hours and you only work for 3 hours. So the idea is to keep some flexibility so that you don't become rigid. So friends, this is Chanakya in the Classroom. As I told you, my favorite book, one of a very different book and unique books. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take up some questions that were still not answered. Questions are pouring in day after day, and I'm so glad that the quality of the questions are also increasing. So let me start with okay. So I'm going to read out the names also. Please keep your questions. I know I cannot cover all the questions today, but we are keeping a list of all questions. We'll cover it up during the day, so none of your questions will be missed out. I'm going to take up a few questions right now. Okay, the first question that I want to take has come from Vikas Sharma. Thank you, Vikas ji, for giving this particular question. Very interesting and relevant for all of us. Okay, 2-3 tips how to write a book. The workshop is later on and the book is later on. The first step is basically, if you want to be a writer, which is an excellent thought, please keep that thought with you. Okay, so don't think that I'm a first-time writer, I have never written. It happens with everyone. It is a saying that every expert starts as a beginner. So if you have a dream of writing a book, please don't kill the dream. I will train you how to do that. Okay, the first step is read a lot of books. Okay, the first step is read a lot of books, because readers should become writers. Okay, and writers should always be readers. See, I have written so many books. You can see a lot of my books here, Corporate Chanakya also, but I've never stopped my reading habit. The first one is basically start reading a lot of books, collecting a lot of books. So books should be part of your lifestyle. The second tip is that don't worry about writing a book at this particular stage. Write something small. It could be an article, it could be a blog. And one habit that I would suggest to all of you is that every day before you go to sleep, write a small diary. Okay, what was my experience and all those things. Don't worry, it's not going to be perfect on day one. Okay, don't worry, it's not going to be perfect on, but take baby steps. And the third tip that I want to do, or I would suggest, is that basically come in contact with authors or publishers. And there are a lot of book festivals that happen. They're very approachable people. to be very frank, everybody thinks about authors as celebrities. They are celebrities, but they're also human beings. I also meet a lot of my readers. They're available on various platforms. You can write to them, speak to them. There are book festivals, literary events that happens. Try and go. And the best part is that most of these literary events are free. So whenever you get a chance to meet an author or a publisher, go there, understand them. There are a lot of YouTube videos also there on how to write a book and everything. So 3 tips right now that I'm going to tell you is that read a lot, write small. At least start writing every day. And of course, go and meet an author or a publisher. Slowly, you'll get introduced in the world. And very soon, you'll have your own book, a published author. We have another question coming from Ali Sayed. Thank you, Ali sir, for writing this particular question. I am a student dropout from engineering, and my parents want me to go to US and study. Should I? And I'm also having a startup. So should I become an entrepreneur and go and study? So for me, I always believe that if possible, never, ever, ever, ever leave your studies. Complete the course. There are always challenges in every particular thing. It's not easy that everything that you start gets completed. But that's the first quality of a leader. जो शुरू करता है वो खत्म करता है. There's a friend of mine. He told me something which stayed with me lifelong. He told me when I was in the college days. He said, I don't believe in how many things you started. I believe in how many things you completed. I don't believe in how many things you started. I believe in how many things you completed. So my dear friends, if you have started something, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's boring also. It's okay. But if you have an opportunity, go and complete that particular course. Now, if you want to go and study in US or anywhere else, why not? In fact, I'm very proud that, you should keep studying lifelong. Initially, you used to study to get a job. Now you study to maintain your jobs. Yeah, that's the challenge. Initially, you used to study to get a job. Now you study to maintain your job and upgrade yourself in the job. Studying is nothing wrong. In fact, it is very good. Now, question is about studying in US or India. That's your choice. I believe wherever there is knowledge, you should go and acquire. But that doesn't mean, there are no good courses in India. Of course, there are good courses in India. There are good researchers. You have to find them. The important thing is you have to get the best subject matter expert who will actually help you in that particular field. So suppose you want to do something in automobile engineering. Search out a good college or a course, but work under a good automobile engineering company later on also. Now coming back to entrepreneurship versus studies, I think both of them coexist together. So if you think, studying versus starting up a company, even if you're starting a company, you should do some course or the other. So I don't think it is choosing from these two. In fact, both are integrated. I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs also joining my course or in many other, seminars, conferences. I would say, keep going with your company, but, keep studying also. I like to give an example of a student of mine. Her name is Disha. So Disha actually completed engineering. She's an IT graduate and started a small business. And she wanted to go abroad and do her studies. I told her, Disha, what about the company that you started? You will leave that whole company as an orphan. So better do something about that particular company. So she said, sir, you decide what to do. So I told Disha, you decide. But I would suggest, 1 year focus on the company and then later on study. You'd be surprised. She continued building her business. Initially, it was a thought during her, engineering days. But she wanted to study abroad. But I said, give importance to your studies also and also to your startup company. So she took a break from her studies, started up. But her student quality always remained. And after 1.5 years, she came and told me, sir, I got an opportunity to actually study in London, in the London School of Economics. I said, congratulations. But you know what? Which course she actually got selected for? She actually got selected for a course on entrepreneurship. And in the history of that particular course, that program, she's the youngest till date. She's only 24 years old. She went, and the model is very interesting. The model is she goes there for 2 weeks and then comes and applies in a business in India. Think about it. What a beautiful model. So it is not about studying, but also applying what you're studying. So you can still do that. Study for the sake of a degree is not something that entrepreneurs should do. Study to upgrade yourself. The third question that I'm going to take is from Simranjeet. Very nice name, Simranjeet. And the question is discipline and consistency. So how do we do this? Because everybody starts, like, we just spoke about the timetable part of it, So you prepare a timetable, and then 2-3 days you feel very nice about it. afterwards the whole inspiration becomes perspiration. It's like joining the gym. So everybody tells, let's join the gym, and there is a lot of josh. But afterwards there is no more hosh. So josh mein hosh kho baithte hain. Very interesting question because it's a very practical dilemma that all of us face through. So, in Sanskrit the word is called Arambhe Shuraha. Arambhe Shuraha. Shur, we, Aram karne ke time. They start with lot of josh, but they can't, sustain it for a long time. So, what is the way how to have continuous disciplines? Friends, remember there are two types of disciplines. Okay, the first discipline is called as external discipline, and the second one is called internal discipline. So, what is the meaning of that? So, external discipline is when somebody else forces you to be disciplined. For example, teachers will tell you, come and attend the class. The parents will tell you, get up, get going. So if you join the army also, you have to be on time, punctual, otherwise they'll punish you. See, all these things about external people disciplining you is okay in the beginning. But if lifelong you have to be disciplined externally, then that's not a good, habit to have. Afterwards, you should decide when to get up. When you decide, I will get up, I'll get up. Yesterday we saw in the video, basically there are two types of clocks. One is called the external clock and the internal clock. Yeah, Chanakya in daily life, we saw that. So what is an external clock? Alarm, the actual mobile phone, ringtone, or whatever. But after a period of time, your biological clock will make you get up at 5 o'clock every day or 6 o'clock, whatever you decide. Same thing about external discipline helps you to a particular point. But if you want every time somebody else to tell you what to do, then it's a problem. Now, here is a practical tip. There's research and a lot of books also written on this, that anything that you do consistently for 21 days, it becomes a habit. Anything that you do consistently for 21 days, that means around 3 weeks. Initially, it's very difficult. You have to push, you have to take supports. Therefore, they call us buddies. If I want to go to gym, if I have a buddy, then he will wake me up or she will wake me up. So both of us will do it together. So there are study buddies also. So we study together. Initially, it's okay. But if you do this consistently for 21 days, then 22nd day, it becomes a habit. And there is a joke about habit. Habit, H-A-B-I-T, a habit never goes. Remove H. A bit always remains. Then remove A. Okay, H-A, bit. Bit remains. Try whatever, bit remains. And remove one more. It remains. Habit is such thing that you remove, but it remains. Remove the I also. It is said the T remains. The habit of tea never goes. So the whole idea is that you have started consuming the tea or any particular habit so much that it always remains. So now the question is that there are two habits. One is bad habits and one is good habits. You should give away the bad habits, but you should develop good habits. Now the good habits in life is lifelong study. Okay, friends? So that's it. Now comes the last part of it and the most important part, which is about the 3 questions that I'm going to ask. Remember I told you about the quiz? It's going to be very simple. If you want to write it down, you can write down. Very simple 3 questions. And these are the 3 questions. Question number 1. Ready? What are the 3 names of Chanakya? Question number 1. What are the 3 names of Chanakya? I've already spoken. I've already told about it. It's all there in my books. If you have read a book also, it will be there. Or you can just go back to the previous 6 videos and you'll find it. Okay? So, what are the 3 names of Chanakya? Don't write it because others can see it. Okay? I'm already seeing some people trying to write it. Don't do that. It's leak. Okay? Or you can write it with a personal message. My email ID, everything is there. You can put it on Instagram or you can put it. It's there. So make sure you tell us what it is. But the first question is, what are the 3 names of Chanakya? Okay. Second, which is the university where Chanakya studied? Which is the university where Chanakya studied? And the third one, okay, very important question. Which are the 2 books that Chanakya wrote? Which are the 2 books that Chanakya wrote? I'll repeat these questions. Question number 1 is basically, what are the 3 names of Chanakya? Okay, 3 names. Second is, which is the university he studied? And next, which are the 2 books that Chanakya wrote? Very simple, not very difficult. So please answer this, and all the winners, I'll be announcing the names and we'll pick up 1 winner whom I'll be sending a personalized autograph copy of this series of books that we have. So we'll be getting one of these books personally autographed, and definitely I'll be requesting them to come down and have a cup of tea with me also. हमारे ऑफिस में आएंगे. But as of now, friends, we are going to wind up this particular session. And tomorrow once again, we'll be back live at 5 o'clock. And we'll be taking up another book. You already know which the book is. That's also a guess. So we have done 7 books, which is the 8th book. It's already announced. Go back to the Instagram pages. The 14 books have been announced. Keep guessing. You already know which the book is. If not, search. I have again a request to please spread across this message to your friends, family, watch it together because it's easy to debate and discuss. So with that, I'd like to sign off for today.